And today we have an amazing topic for you all about going from invoices to automatic payment. And this can be a really tough thing for tutors who are used to doing invoices the entire time to move to. Sometimes it's hard for us to wrap our mind around it, like wrap our mind about like, how do I actually put this into place? How do I communicate this with parents? Do I start it with my new clients or my old clients as well? And we're going to be talking about all those different aspects today on this call. So you definitely don't want to miss out. And I have two amazing tutors that are with me as well. I've got Robin Carbajal and Tariva Bundy who are here. And I want to know who you guys are in the chat as well. So tell me who you are, where you're from, all of that great stuff, because we are a community here. This isn't just about, me sharing information with you guys, but really it's about all of us developing a relationship together, which I absolutely love. So definitely type in who you are, where you're from, what you tutor, because that allows us to get to know each other just a little bit more. So we're going to dive in. I want to introduce the two people that are going to be speaking today. I've got Robin Carbajal here today, and it happens that both of these people are reading tutors like myself as well. But we're gonna dive on in, learn a little bit more about them. Robin, tell everybody about who you are, where you're from, and what you tutor.
Yeah, so Robin Carbajal, I am a dyslexia therapist. I do primarily online. I have some in person. I'm out of Texas and love what I do.
Yay. I love it. Fantastic. And we've got Tariva Bundy here. Tariva, tell everybody a little bit more about yourself.
Hi, I'm Tariva Bundy, and I'm a certified elementary school teacher, and I'm located in New York City. And I've just transformed my teaching skills to the tutoring online field, and I'm excited to be here.
Yay, we're excited to have you. So we also have, I see Denisha in Texas, who's also a reading tutor. We've got Juma from Dubai, Lori Baker, Janice, and Crystal Harrison. So glad that you guys are here and joining us for this conversation. Now, when you guys started doing your business, were you using Invoices with your tutoring business?
No, not at all. I was using Venmo.
Oh, tell us about that. What was that like for you?
What I think when you first start, you don't start big, you start small.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have invoices. I didn't have anything organized. It was just simply me, this mom, texting and just kind of organizing how to get that payment, because I didn't want to do checks. I wanted to do something automatic. I wanted to do something easy. And Venmo was essentially free for me.
Right.
So it was just quick, easy, and convenient.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was the starting point. I knew I didn't want to stay there, but it was a good place to start.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Tariva? What was your starting point for you?
Well, for me, I have been tutoring for years, but I've been doing it for free. So this is my first time actually being paid for my services. And last week I received my first client through the Jumpstart program. And now I'm in the process of creating my policies and how I want to make this all go autopilot for me, because when I get into the tutoring, I love teaching and I just want to focus on my students. I don't want to focus on the business aspect.
Right.
So right now I'm using Tutorbird, which I learned through the Impact conference that we had. And it was amazing how easy and seamless they create the invoices for you, and how you can actually, because I just sent the email out yesterday to my first client with the invoice, and all they have to do is click on the invoice and pay me. And I was like, wow, this makes life so easy.
And there's also a way that Tutorbird will automatically send them their receipt of their automatic paid, like that it automatically just goes through without the client even having to click on that button to pay it. And I'd have to say, from a parent perspective, when I had put this in place for my students and everything because of a problem I had, right? The big problem I was having to send out those invoices several times before I would get paid. It kind of felt like when I sent an invoice for some people, it was kind of like a payment option. Like it was a choice. So I could pay you if I wanted to, but if I don't feel like it, then I don't have to. I can wait and I can hold this off until my other payments go through with other things. And I didn't really want to make payment an option. I wanted payment to be like already done and taken care of before I had that session with that student. And so because I was spending so much time with it, I was spending every single Sunday sitting there sending out these invoices, looking at who paid, who didn't pay yet, and who did I need to send out another message to. And I was sitting there after a couple years of, not getting paid, right? Some people not paying, and I don't ever take it out on the student because it's not the kid's fault, right? So here I'm still holding those sessions, even though, I've stated in my policy that if payment isn't received, the session won't happen. Well, I never really followed through on that because that just feels weird to me. So I thought there has to be a better solution. And I automatically thought about those bills that automatically charge me. And I thought, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way that I can do this inside of my business. And at that point in time, I was using PayPal, and I had to find this hack. I'm like, well, what if I hit the subscription button? Or what if I do this button? Or what if I try this button? And all of a sudden I landed on it where I was able to send those automatic payments. And the only thing I had to do was send now my client a link. They click on the link, they set up the payment, and it was taken care of. And all of a sudden I started hearing on my phone, ding. And I would look and I'd be like, I just got paid. And I didn't have to send out an invoice. That was amazing. And then I'd hear again, ding. I'd be out in public and I would look at my kids. I'd be like, oh, what was that? I'd be like, I just got paid. I just made money. And they'll be like, really? I'm like, yeah. Isn't it cool how easy money is to make? And I would always share that with them because growing up, money was so hard to make. And my parents always shared how hard it was to make money that I really wanted to instill in my kids how easy it is to make money. I'm like, oh, there's some more money, guys. There's some more money there. There's some more money there. And it just started feeling really good. And I've probably taken away most of my notifications on my phone, but my Stripe and my PayPal, I never take those away because I love seeing those payments just automatically coming on in. So Robin, you started with Venmo, and you did have it sounded like you had some back and forth going on with the parent.
Right.
Which kind of is not it worked at the time and it was fine and you didn't have to pay any payment. But you had to pay your time, which you didn't really probably think about, right? So your time is money too. So going back and forth, it probably ends up equaling out to be around the same payment. But as you were going back and forth, were you thinking I wonder if I had more students, would I be able to keep up with this?
Right. Exactly. I was thinking this works for now, but this is not going to work at all for the long run. And plus it didn't feel very professional. It felt more like how you go out with a friend and, oh, I don't have cash. Oh, you know what? Let me just cash app you a little bit and you cover for both of us or something like that. It just felt like we were just buds.
Yeah.
And what happened then is because it wasn't this real professional relationship that I was building, it was easy to cancel on me. It was easy to, whoopsie, I forgot. It's, my student will go ahead and get on, but it'll be 15 minutes late. That you're fine with that, right? Because we're buds.
Right.
Right, we are, but at the same time, I needed to kind of change things a little bit. But I will say I've been able to transition that and kind of use that in my favor because this one particular client kind of became the one that I experiment things with, right? So when I got on my next student, I started with invoices and I actually sent professional invoices. And at that time, I was with QuickBooks.
Okay.
Which QuickBooks is great. It really is. But you have to have, it's a system that business people use, accountants use. There's a lot of terminology and so forth in it that I frankly didn't understand, didn't want to take the time to, and I could take a 2-day training. I'm like, if you have to take 2 days to understand, it was the 2-day basic training. I was like, if 2 days is the basic training, this might be more than what I really need. And it was. And so when I transitioned to TutorBird, it was a lot easier, but it started this idea of just of sending out an invoice, and they still paid me. And on my invoice receipt, I said, pay me in Zelle or pay me in Venmo. But
Okay.
again, it was just a little step. But the big thing has really been setting up so the invoices would go out automatically, but it's getting paid automatically. I think that's been the game changer. And I'll admit, I am still working on that. It's,
Yeah.
baby steps, because when you deal with people's money and they have a saved credit card in your account, in your TutorBird account, any little misstep, and if you don't quite know what you're doing, if you don't quite understand when things get sent out, when things are billed, you can accidentally bill someone on the day you don't mean to. People don't like that.
No,
People
no.
don't like that. So being able to have one person, so I actually signed myself up as a student for myself in my TutorBird account, and I sent myself bills to see what did they look like. And
Sure.
but this one individual that I first started with has kind of been that one person I try everything out with. I tried different systems, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this. Let me know what you think, and so forth. So it's kind of nice to have that one person you could trial things with.
Yeah. And how has she responded to it?
You know what? She has it's really been a game changer for her too, because she has a hard time keeping up with stuff. She would accidentally skip an invoice, and then the next invoice would come, and rather than paying the previous invoice, she'd pay the one that is at the top of her email feed. And so she'd pay the most recent one, but skip the other one. And then I would need to go back and kind of figure out how to fix that and so forth. And so she has really liked the idea of just being able to put her card in, automatic billing, just like the trash and the electric bill and phone bill and Robin Carbajal's dyslexia therapy bill, just automatically. So
Yes.
it's nice, and it does feel so much more professional. And I've even sort of noticed it changing our relationship just a little bit. It's becoming a little bit more formalized in a good way.
Yeah.
It needed to go that direction.
Absolutely. And we do grow close relationships with the parents and the clients and all of that kind of stuff. But we do have to remember that this is a business. And I know, Tariva, you're kind of transitioning from that volunteer tutor to the paid tutor. And we have to set that boundary for ourselves that this is now our business. We can't run it like a volunteer tutoring service, because if we don't get paid, we can't pay our bills. This is our way of making money. It's a great way to make money, and we need to value that relationship with money and the relationship with our clients so that we can get paid on time every time. Now, the only time that I don't get paid is if a credit card doesn't go through, and usually it's because they canceled that credit card for some reason. Something unfortunate happened in their life, or the credit card expired. It is very rare that we have any of those problems or those issues, and it's made my life so much easier. And I'm so glad to hear that I bet you're feeling a little bit more professional now too with this piece in place.
Yes. And I really am. And I will tell you one thing also that I think was sort of a mind shift for me is that I was used to, through Zelle or Venmo, being able to collect that payment online for free.
Right.
When we step up in that level of professionalism, and I'm using TutorBird, it's connected with Stripe, and collecting that payment, and it's really nice. Even those parents who don't have the automatic payment saved, I still automatically send them a bill. When they get that bill, there is a button in their email that they click, and they automatically pay. It's so easy for them. But with that convenience and ease of getting paid also comes with a bit of a cost. And so when I first realized it was going to cost me $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 to get paid, I was like, whoa. I had to. But in the end, I started looking at how much time I was spending doing invoices, chasing down my money, trying to figure out which invoice was the one that was paid, because one wasn't. And the time I spent sorting it out, oh, I will pay a Stripe, PayPal, whatever it might be, fee any day of the week. But that took me a little bit to kind of get over.
Yes.
Time is worth it.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I think that that is the feeling of a lot of people. They're like, well, if we're just transferring money, I really shouldn't have to pay in order to do that. But when we are dealing with like people's credit cards, there's always a credit card fee that is associated with that, right? And usually the business is the one that pays that. And the businesses, I gotta tell you, you ever run into some of those businesses? Sometimes it's gas stations, or sometimes it's little mom and pop shops, right? Where they're like, if you're going to use a credit card, you have to pay this fee. Like, I actually do not feel very comfortable doing business with those people. And I feel like, look, this is the cost of doing business. Like, suck it up, buttercup, or like raise your prices, because that is not a fee that the person that is getting the service should have to take on. Most businesses don't work that way. And so those few that do, they really stick out and they leave a bad taste in my mouth. So I think, like, if the cost in the beginning is hard for people, there's a simple solution. It's called raise your rates by $5 an hour. It's taken care of. Done, right? No longer do you have to worry about those fees now. And you're like, oh, well, to go from 50 to 55, I can't do that. Oh, you can. You can. It's not that hard. Nobody is going to be like, oh, you're charging $5 more an hour now? Like, that's it. I am not moving forward with you. But if you're like, look, unfortunately, due to the increase in, right now we're going through big time, right? We're going through everything costs more. Right? Now is a great time to raise your rate, because everybody has raised their rates on everything just to stay in business. So it's okay to say, due to inflation, I need to increase my rates by $5. Never, ever in a million years would you say to your client, due to the fact that I'm no longer using Venmo or Zelle, and I'm getting charged these fees from PayPal or Stripe, I have to charge you more money. No. You just say, due to inflation and the cost of doing business, I need to raise my rates, $5 an hour starting on this date. Please understand that, that this is, I took time to really think this through and make sure that this was going to be the best decision moving forward. If you have any problems or questions, please let me know. And guess what? Nobody is going to question you.
I'm happy that you said that, Joanne, because I was thinking about Amazon, who just recently raised their membership like $20. And I'm like, this is a company that makes billions of dollars. And if they can raise their rates, why can't I,
Right.
So
Right. Absolutely. Everybody has the ability to raise their rates. It doesn't matter who you are. I was just listening on the radio a couple weeks ago. I heard that Walmart, starting rate at Walmart for one of the positions is $22.50. And I thought, wow, Walmart, what are the starting rates at Walmart is $22.50? Then every tutor can at least be charging that or more. Like, and I'm not even talking like tutors with lots of experience, right? We're talking like no experience, out of the gate, just want to help kids. So we all should be thinking about the rates that we're charging, and do they fit our lifestyle? Do they fit the training, the results we're able to get, right? We take all of that into consideration as we raise our rates. And will people still find value in our services if we're charging this much? Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. So I think this is really, really an important thing to take into account. I just had a client who, they're like, we're going to take the next month off. She's on automatic billing. And she knows she's on automatic billing. She's like, we're going to take the next month off, but don't worry. You do not need to refund us anything. She's like, we want to hold our spot. So think of us as paying you and holding our spot so that you don't fill it with somebody else. So this is the way people start to think when you, A, are getting the clients that can't afford your services, and money isn't, money isn't the number one concern in their lives, right? And I think that's so cool when these kinds of things happen. Never before that, never in a million years, when I was doing invoices, did anybody say to me, I'd like you to send me an invoice for the next month that we're not going to take services and bill us for that. Never. But with automatic, it made it happen. And, that's amazing when that happened. So I love that we're kind of having this discussion, because it is, in the beginning, a lot of it is in here, isn't it? About how we handle money. Like, I was really scared to take people's credit cards in the beginning. Like, I don't want to have any part of that. I don't want to take their credit card. Anybody feel that way? Yeah, Teresa, tell me what goes on for you when you think about that?
Like last week when I was watching the hot seat and the sales conversation, and you were saying how, I just say, can you just give me your credit card number? I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you do that. Like, people feel comfortable giving their credit card information to, like, I don't know. It just really but then after I practiced the sales conversation, I realized that as I was talking to the client, all of the services that I provide and all of my experiences, how important it is that they feel that they can trust me.
Yes.
Based off of that conversation, that I'm here to provide what they need and much more. So never will they have to question how much I charge, or will they be a little, hesitant about providing that information to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I, in fact, now have even, I use the credit card question on my TutorBird form that I have people fill out. I have enabled it so I collect their credit card when I am grabbing their registration information before the free assessment. And so it really makes it even easier for me, because now I can just say to them, first of all, there are some people who will not fill that out, right? But the people who do, and they see that I'm not charging for the free assessment, I just have it on there to save your spot. And I tell people that I collect your credit card to save your spot, because I have people who don't show up to the free assessment. So this, you don't have to pay anything for it. I just need your credit card down on there. If you choose to move forward, we can change your credit card. If you choose not to move forward, nothing will happen with that. So don't worry. And they get to see that all comes true for them. Right. And then I can ask them. Yeah, go ahead.
About that form, because I've seen your form and I'm trying to create my form. Does that form only collect the information? It doesn't charge them?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So that form, the particular form that I use from TutorBird says, would you like to collect the credit card number? And I checked it. Yes, I would. And so then I'm able to grab all of that beginning information that I need before I do the free call. And the second thing I do after that is I say, once you've filled out this registration form, I'll send you the Zoom link. So it's kind of like a process, right? You fill out the form, I'll send you the Zoom link, and then I'll put it on my calendar that we're going to meet. Right, versus saving a spot for somebody who's kind of like on the fence, like, I don't know. And it is really, really a great system. So for me, because I had so many people that were requesting my services, which is going to happen for all of you guys at some point, right? I had to almost limit the amount of people that were requesting my services. And that was a great way for me to do that. But in the beginning, you don't want to do that, because it will take back people from what? I don't know anything about her. They can start researching me online, and how much information can they find about me online? You can pretty much find out everything about me online. You can find out, the name of my children, my husband, where I live. All that information is out in the open. Somebody who's trying to hide something would not do that, right? You can find my YouTube channel. I had one of my students the other day who said, Miss Joanne, I heard that you have your own YouTube channel. And I was like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me that you watched my YouTube channel. You'd be bored to pieces. He's like, no, my mommy just said that you have a YouTube channel. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, so they can find all that information about me, and that makes them feel, I think, comfortable moving forward. Now imagine what would happen if I was dishonest. they would get onto all of those different platforms and they would tear me apart, right? So like how I come across is authentic because nobody's doing that to me, right? Nobody's being like, don't trust this lady, she's full of it, or any of that kind of stuff. So I think that kind of leads to a little bit more credibility when people start, they start researching you and going through that process. Like, all right, I feel like I can leave my credit card number with her. But in the beginning, I was so scared when I heard that. I went to this $20,000 training that I was a part of. I know. I don't know what I was saying. I just wanted to get better at this whole sales process because I didn't feel comfortable in the whole entire sales process. And I ended up going to California 4 times throughout the year to really learn all about sales and how to handle it properly. And when they said to me, collect the credit card number on the call, it will increase the chances of people moving forward with you, I thought, all right, well, let's check this out. Let's try it. And it worked. And I was like, okay, well, I can't deny it when something works, right? Like all of a sudden I have their credit card information. Here's the beautiful part, because I remember when you had wrote that last week, Tariva, and I was like, the most beautiful part is if they're thinking, I'm not going to move forward with you, but I'm just saying yes, those people who are just like, yes, this sounds great, this sounds fantastic, and then they ghost you. Doesn't happen anymore, because if there's a problem in that moment when you ask for the credit card, they'll say, well, if there's a problem. But now, instead of it being a well and they hang up with a fake smile and then ghost you, it now comes down to, I need to talk to my husband, or I'm not sure if this is really something we can commit to, and so then you can get down to it. You can say, okay, well, if they say this isn't something I can commit to, which usually that's not even an issue, right? It's usually, they'll usually use the money excuse with us, right? Like, I'm not sure this is something that we can afford. And you say, let me ask you a question. If it wasn't for the money, is this something you would still want to move forward with? Because if there's any other underlying things, you'll hear them in that response. And now you have more information that you can go on versus it just costs too much. A lot of people will just go with I just charge too much for my tutoring. I've heard people tell me that charge $30 an hour, that people tell them that they charge too much for tutoring. I've had people tell me that charge $10 an hour, that people tell them that they charge too much. And for some people, our prices are going to be too much for somebody. They should be. We can't say yes to everyone. So, yeah, Tariva.
Another question about that. I love that statement that if it wasn't for the money, would this be something that you would move forward on? What if they say yes to that? Like, what would be your response if they say it's because of the money?
It's because of the money. I think that's a great opportunity for you to just dive deeper and say, come up with another solution for them. So let's say that we came up with 2 hours a week would be my suggestion. We could say, well, let's try an hour a week instead of doing 2 hours a week. Or, if you think it could be beneficial for the child to do 30 minutes a week, would that make a difference? It would cut the price down in half. Would that be something you would want to move forward with? And I have had some people where that's been the situation. And I'm working with this one little girl. She's just doing 30 minutes a week. But I said, look, I'm going to provide you resources and tools to use in between the sessions. I'll check to make sure and see how she's doing with them. But she has been doing all of her head sprout lessons, every single one of them, in between sessions. And she is moving up super, super quick because of it, because she's doing the work in between sessions. So what I'll say is I have some resources and tools that you can utilize in between sessions. And then when I'm working with your child one-on-one, here's what I'll work on. So if we can come up with a strategy like that, then it makes it cheaper for them, while at the same time still providing them tons of value.
That's an awesome idea. As I'm hearing you say that, because I'm kind of in my mind kind of going through like what I typically do, what I typically offer and so forth. And, you're right. When you ask, is it just the money? Those individuals that want a lower price may be willing to do things like extra work at home on their own.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really Wow, thank you for sharing that. I'm remembering that tip.
Yeah.
Because one other thing I wanted to share also is that, so I don't ask for the credit card in that initial call. Um, and I didn't realize other people did. So that's good to know. But what I do is I send my clients an email that has a link to the student's portal, because through Tutorbird, each student has a portal, and it's easy. You go into the student's account, you click options, and then it says you send them an email, and it has login information. It has how to get into their account, and the parent puts in their own credit card information. So now I have access to it. I can charge it if I want to, but if anything ever happens to that credit card, they know it's not me, because I've never seen that card.
Yeah. I've never had anybody with my tutoring services say that I falsely charged them, or if something weird happened, you refund. And that's not hard to do. So there's this lovely little button, whether you're using Stripe or you're using PayPal, that you just hit refund. You can refund partial or the entire amount. Do accidents happen and do people understand? Absolutely. As long as you handle it, like use your customer service skills, use your soft skills to work through it and say, I apologize for that mishap. There's absolutely no excuse as to why that happened, but I will rectify it and I will make it up to you. Here's this. And if I feel like the relationship with the client could have been damaged in any way, I always offer an additional free session to make up for it. And so, since I charge, $100 an hour, I give them a $100 an hour, session. If they were doing 30-minute sessions, I'd give them a free 30-minute session. But that is my way of saying, I'm sorry for this mishap that happened. Usually my mishaps have nothing to do with their credit card. My mishaps usually have to do with me missing a session for some undue, unforeseen circumstance. Like one time I was like in the car and I got lost. Literally, I was lost. I had no idea where I was going. Like I put the GPS on and I followed the directions and I ended up at the wrong location where I was going to set on up and go do my tutoring. And I realized I had put the wrong location in there, right? Like totally a goof up on my side. And I told the parent, I will make it up with 2 free sessions for you. And sometimes they're like, no, don't worry about it. Accidents happen. No worries. We'll just make up this session and you're good. And other times they're like, awesome, thank you, and they appreciate it. It's an easy way to rectify any situation. I tell you, it's gold. And it really doesn't take that much out of me to do that, right? Because I'm already there. I'm already invested in it for the student and for the child. So I know, Teresa, you're starting to get into this mindset of like starting to charge your clients and your parents. What are your thoughts about this whole automatic payment thing?
I'm learning. Like I was saying early in the week, I was actually chatting with Robin about this topic because I was like, I don't feel comfortable taking people's credit card information. Is there a way that I could, have them put it in? And are there any mishaps? Like, do people not pay? Because I don't want to go through that either.
Right.
So I'm excited about trying it out. I'm happy I only have one client so far so that I'm able to try it out. Like Robin was saying, I even told them, feel free to give me any feedback on the registration process. I want it to be as smooth as possible, if they have any hiccups. So I'm excited I can start this like trial and error with one client before things start to get really busy.
Yeah, and it's great. Like even if you are at the point where you are really busy, you'll realize just like how life-saving this is with your clients not having to go back and forth on payment, that this is just automatically in place for you. It's going to feel like a gift versus I was starting to feel some resentment. I don't know if this happened to you at all, Robin, when you were working with the one client, she didn't pay you. You begin to develop these resentments inside. That resentments are a hard thing to get over. They really are. Did you experience that too, Robin?
I really did. I
Yeah.
really did. Because, and looking at this individual client, I knew that there wasn't any um, ill feelings toward me.
Yeah.
I knew that this individual, she's just kind of a chaotic individual. She
Right.
gets distracted, and there's so many things on her plate, and then dealing with her kids and her job, and there were so many things, and it wasn't meant to be anything ill toward me,
Right.
but it happened so often
Yeah.
in her chaotic life and so forth. But I realized I was becoming the one area that she could fudge on a little bit,
Mm.
right? I have to take care of everything else in life, but with Robin, I don't need to worry about her. I don't want to use this too much, like make it sound hard, but like I can kind of abuse her in a nice way.
Right.
She'll forgive me. It'll be okay. And it is. And like you said, we use those soft skills because we don't want to, harm that relationship. She's given me so many great referrals, so many, great testimonials. She's done so much great for me. So I want to keep that relationship, but at the same time, I'm like, you have a prime time slot, and you're paying,
Yeah.
you are paying so much less than other people with this prime time slot. I really at least need to not take up extra hours on Friday trying to get paid from you. Like, I just need this to happen.
Right.
So, but in the end, she actually, when I started offering the automatic, she was the first one to be like, yes, let's do it, because she was also embarrassed somewhat about it too, because she couldn't quite get her life together. So when I
Right.
started this automatic withdrawal, she was like, oh, what a relief.
You gave her
Because
dignity back.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, she didn't have to be embarrassed around me anymore. She didn't have to go hunting and finding, oh, where was which is the most recent invoice, and it became, it actually really helped our relationship, I think,
Yeah.
to grow, because now we don't have to talk about money anymore. We can talk about the child, the progress. We
Right.
can ooh and ah over her Valentine's Day outfit that
Right.
she, that parents sent me, and, a picture of it, and so forth, and ooh and ah over things that are important, rather than talking about money,
Which is uncomfortable.
which is uncomfortable.
I mean,
Yes.
I don't know anybody
Yes.
who's like, I love chasing down my money and I love having difficult conversations about money. Said no one ever, right? Like, it's not comfortable when you're like, you need to pay me. Yeah. So I think that this is a really good thing. Like, so now some of you guys are gonna have friends that are gonna want to work with you. They're gonna want you to work with their child, and maybe they're expecting a discount, whatever the case may be. But friends are the number one offender to not paying their invoices on time. Now, if you want to keep that friendship a healthy friendship, put them on automatic payment. It's your system's fault. It's not you, it's your system. Honestly, like, the system doesn't mess up. It charges you once a month. That's it. It's the system. If it's the 14th of the month, it's going to charge you because it's the 14th of the month. Okay? Like, that's what it does. It's just automatic. It has no feelings about your situation, whereas I might have feelings over your situation and change it, right? It makes sure that people contact you before your sessions too, to let you know if there's anything different that's happening. Because before I would have clients that all of a sudden they were getting these invoices. They stopped showing up to sessions, and I would contact them. I would email them. I would text them. They wouldn't respond. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, they didn't even tell me they're going to stop tutoring. Right now they have to tell me they're going to stop tutoring so that I can turn off the automatic payment. At least I know now, right? I have that peace of mind. But friends will be the biggest offenders to not paying those invoices on time. They think, oh, she's my friend. She'll totally get it. Like, it's all okay. We're buds. But what ends up happening? You now develop these resentments against your friend. And that's more damaging than anything else. We need our friends, right? And you don't want money to be the thing that kind of comes in between you because of that. And so I just let people know, like, okay, so I know we're friends. This is the business process I put into place for absolutely everyone. Okay, so it's just so that I get paid on time all the time. I had people that weren't paying me. I've gotten stiffed in the past. So this is just the way that I do business. Let me know if you have any questions at any time, okay? And if you need to cancel a session, just let me know before that 24 hours so that we can take care of that. And if anybody needs that time, it could be a makeup time for another student. So when people don't show up for a session, I release that on my schedule, which then allows me to schedule another student that needs to reschedule, because reschedules are just a part of life. They happen. So just let me know 24 hours in advance. We're good to go. So, yeah. What are your thoughts about that, Tarifa?
I'm really happy how you connected that resentful piece, because resentment, it could show subliminally in your actual teaching of the student, just to have those kind of emotions underneath. And you're not even probably, realizing it because it's subliminal, because how you felt. And I think having that peace of mind and creating those healthy boundaries with whether it's your friend or a client that you don't know is really important.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Collecting automatic payments is setting a healthy boundary. At first we're scared. Like, I know we're totally scared about, like, well, what if I mess up, or what if I do something wrong, or something. Again, just know, if you mess up, everybody makes mistakes. And just think how you can add more value to them if you make that mistake, and all will be well. You're not going to get sued. Like, people aren't going to sue like an individual tutor. Maybe they will if something really bad happened, but these kinds of things that you can take care of pretty easily, right? Like a refund, or a reschedule, or give them an extra session. Nobody's going to sue you over all that kind of stuff. If you go to court and they're like, so why are you guys here? Right? And you're like, well, I overcharged and then I refunded the money. Okay, so why are we still here? It sounds like it was already taken care of, right? So let's take all of those fears away. Life is going to be good. Awesome. You guys, thank you so much for joining me here today and having this conversation, because I know this is like a really big hiccup for a lot of people. And I do know that when other people get to experience the power of the ding, and they just see that's automatically done, they contact me immediately and they're like, Joanne, why did I not move forward with this sooner? I have no idea why I didn't do this sooner. You told me in the beginning. I don't know why I fought you on it, but I did. And now my life is a lot more easier because of it. And that's what we want. We want to create systems in your business that are easy. So thanks again, you guys, for joining us today. And everybody else, thank you for joining me. If you like things like this, these videos, hit that subscribe, hit that like. That lets us know that to create more things just like this. So thanks for joining us, and everybody,